Hi, Sophie here, and today I'm going to be talking about magnesium and the many reasons why you might be deficient in this very important mineral. And I'll also be telling you how to get more mineral into your diet and which supplements are the best to take. Alright, so magnesium is something that I'm seeing a big deficiency in across the board. I think it's sort of almost reached crisis point that so many people are deficient and probably don't realize that they are. So if you think that you might have a deficiency, if you know or you've been diagnosed, please let me know. Leave comments on this video, and of course as we go through, please leave me questions and I will do my best to get in and answer as soon as I can. So here's the thing, this magnesium deficiency is actually a very kind of big deal for me, because I found out that I was magnesium deficient about 10 years ago, and it was so unpleasant. The symptoms were just so sort of worrying to me. So I'm going to share that with you just in case you might be experiencing the same sort of symptoms. So what it was for me was that I got these little muscle twitches, and you know when your eye twitches, so I had that, but I also had little muscle twitches on my arms and my legs, really kind of all over my body. And they were the sort of twitches that just wouldn't stop, and you could actually sort of see them visibly on the skin. And it really scared me. I just thought, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Also, I had muscle weakness, a little bit of dizziness, I was irritable, had really bad PMS. And these, by the way, because I was going to talk about symptoms, these are classic symptoms of magnesium deficiency, and I had them. And I found out really just through symptoms. You can have blood work done. I didn't at the time, and I have done since. And you can have you can get tested for all your vitamin and mineral levels, but they are expensive blood panels often to have done, and often aren't covered by insurance. If you live in the United States, they're probably not covered anywhere actually. And so there are some things, some levels that we can test symptomatically, thank goodness, and magnesium is really one of them. So those are some of the symptoms: irritability, anxiousness. You know, magnesium is known as the anti-stress drug, or the anti-stress, there you go, the anti-stress mineral, also known as the calming mineral. And that's because it's exactly what it does. So you can imagine you're deficient, and then you're just like, ah. So that would be something you might really want to consider if you are having those symptoms. And of course, those symptoms can be indicative of other things. That's why we have to be a little bit careful of looking at symptoms, because, you know, you could have irritability because of a completely different reason, obviously. Another one is insomnia, but of course, you know, some people have been insomniacs for years, and it has to do with other things. So why are we? So I was interested to find out why I was so magnesium deficient, particularly somebody who has a pretty healthy diet. And I've subsequently found out that the two main reasons why people are magnesium deficient nowadays are: number one, because the soil that our food is grown in isn't as mineral rich as it used to be 50 years ago, certainly 100 years ago, and that's because of the modern farming, modern agriculture. You know, we don't replenish, farmers can't and don't replenish their soils to get that mineral content that actually should be there and the plants should take up. Maybe if it's an organic farmer who does proper crop rotation, or a biodynamic farmer, or a truly sustainable farmer, then the soil might and probably does have a higher mineral content. But for the most part, globally, our soil is really lacking in these valuable minerals that our produce is grown in. So that's one reason. And the second reason is because of the SAD diet, the standard American diet, also known as the SAD diet. And the main reason, there are two main reasons that I always consider as a nutritionist that are really problematic with this diet. Number one is that when foods are processed, because the standard American diet is highly processed, and when a food is processed, what happens is the minerals completely are taken out. So you imagine the kernel of wheat, let's just imagine a grain, and when that's processed, the outer kernel that contains all the minerals is gone. It's just lost, and you're left with the starchy, the interior, which is refined and then does nothing really other than spike your blood sugar. And so, of course, foods across the board are highly processed, losing all those valuable vitamins and minerals. And and the other thing is that sugar, which is a huge part of the Santon American diet, also leaches your system of valuable minerals, particularly magnesium. So there you have it. Those are the reasons why. There can be other reasons, diabetic, if you are taking certain medications, if you take diuretics, or if you drink a lot of coffee or tea, which are diuretics. And I am a huge tea drinker, so I think for me, that's what really led to that deficiency. And I have to really watch that now and make sure that my levels are really topped off. So how can we get enough magnesium? Well, as you know, most of the time I like to look to food for magnesium or any kind of mineral and vitamin top up. Well, not even top up, that's how we get them, that's how we're supposed to get them, that's how nature designed us to get them. And I will show you some foods here, but the thing is with magnesium, the absorption rate from food is quite low. It's only about 30 or 40%, so even if you eat very magnesium-rich foods, you're only going to be able to absorb a limited amount. But anyways, let's at least eat as many of those foods, right? So black beans contain a lot. I'm plant-based, so luckily these are foods that I eat every single week, if not every single day. Cashew nuts, very high in magnesium, and because I'm plant-based, I make a lot of cashew cheeses and dips and things like that. If you're new to my channel, look at some of my other videos. I have an amazing video of a cashew cheese dip and a vegan mac and cheese, all made with cashew nuts. Leafy greens, dark leafy greens of any kind, chard, kale, spinach, romaine, very high in magnesium and calcium. So those are some of the foods, the main plant foods. Now, I want to talk to you about supplementation. I don't want to make this video too long because I want you to stay with me and have this really, really valuable information. So for supplementation, the most important thing is that you use a magnesium that is absorbable, because there are lots of different kinds of magnesium, and we want to look for the one that your body will absorb instantaneously and at a very high percentage. So I like magnesium citrate. It's chelated form of magnesium called magnesium citrate, and this particular brand called Natural Vitality here, they use magnesium citrate, and I like this for a number of different reasons. I went to the health food aisle looking at all the different magnesium supplements, and of course you can, if you prefer it, you can get it in a dropper, a pill, a capsule, etc. But I don't like to take too many pills, and what I like about this is it comes as a powder. It's a white powder. You put a little bit in a mug with some hot water. It fizzes up because it's effervescent, and you just drink it down. And so it's a lovely warm tea or drink, if you like, on an empty stomach. It's better to take magnesium on an empty stomach. So I would have this just before I go to bed because it's calming. It'll help me go to sleep. It'll help me stay asleep. Just help me to de-stress. So it's a perfect bedtime drink. This one is just the plain calm. It comes in many different flavors, including original, which has absolutely no flavor to it whatsoever. And that's the one that I prefer. There's also, and before I move on, I just want to explain to you how you can tell whether your levels are right or not. Because if you think you might be magnesium deficient, then you would try this, and you would start with a teaspoon or even half a teaspoon, and then you can sort of work your way up. But you basically test your levels by finding out if your bowels are comfortably loose. That is how you tell. There's no other way of putting it. So again, if you suffer from a little bit of constipation, obviously it could be due to other things as well, but it could be something, magnesium deficiency could play into that. And you'll find out, because if you get your magnesium levels up, then that's what will happen. The next morning you'll be comfortably loose. Now, if it's too loose, then you've taken too much, and not loose enough, then you maybe want to take a little bit more. So a lot of my clients find that this is so helpful. They just really don't live without it now, because it was just like, oh, I didn't know that was the thing that was going to help me, and it really did. Now finally, or almost finally, Natural Vitality also does this supplement called Natural Calm plus calcium. And I really like this. And this ties into really the most important thing that I wanted to tell you, so stick around because this is a very important piece of information, is that a lot of us take calcium as we get older. Women over the age of 40, we start needing to think about our bone health, our bone strength, our bone density. We don't want to get osteoporosis. And even if you have the early stages of osteoporosis, you want to, stop it in its progression or slow it in its progression. So bone health is very important. Now, there are lots of things that we can do, one of which is weight-bearing exercises, at least 4 days a week. But a lot of us think, well, I just need to take masses of calcium. Well, the thing is about taking masses of calcium, it's not going to do an awful lot of use if it's not balanced with the right ratio of magnesium, because you need magnesium for the calcium to absorb. That is vitally important for you to know. And the other sort of player in this little sort of orchestra that works really well together is vitamin D3. And what I love about this particular supplement is that it has the right ratio, the exact correct ratio of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D3. So this is a one and done for me. So I can just take it at night, so I get the calming of the magnesium, make sure my magnesium levels are optimum, I'm getting my calcium as well, and I'm getting my vitamin D3, all in a drink that is incredibly pleasurable to taste for me, because I like the original again, and they all come in these flavors, but I just don't like sweet. That's just me. These ones are like sweetened with a little stevia, which is not my cup of tea, but my daughter, who's 15, who loves this one, she's in high school, stressed out, exams, trouble sleeping. This is her go-to drink at night. And I also, when I was in the aisle, saw this by a Natural Vitality, which is their organic life vitamins, and I like the look of that because it is they're plant-based. They're basically food vitamins. So if you're going to take your vitamins, sort of fruit-based are better. And a liquid, again, I like, easy to absorb, for your body to absorb, and it's organic. And the thing that I liked about, I'll put the links for all these under the video. The thing I liked about that one is that it's got a little aloe vera in it. And aloe vera, again, if you get a little stopped up, it's a beautiful cleansing plant, aloe vera, for your system. A few people are allergic to it. You'll probably know if you are taking it internally, that it can be really great as part of a sort of cleansing, detoxing regime. So that is it from me, my friends. I really wanted to get that in there because it's just, I don't know, I've had so many clients asking me about it recently, and I did a post on my blog, and then a lot of you left loads of questions. And one of the biggest questions was what the most absorbable form of it, because many people were taking different kinds. So there are other kinds, by the way, that are absorbable. There are many kinds that aren't particularly absorbable, but just for ease of this video and to make it super simple for you, I just thought I'd show you one kind that I personally like, that is magnesium citrate and that is really, really beautifully absorbable. So that is it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe now, as I do videos on absolutely everything pertaining to healthy green living. My mission in life is to help you to better wellness, one kale leaf at a time. And I just welcome you. I welcome and I treasure your time watching these videos. And I'll see you next time.